Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another S.H.Figuarts Marvel figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at my first ever Spidey Figuarts release, and it's none other than the black and gold suit, aka the Inside Out suit from Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, technically there are some inaccuracies here, and we'll discuss that a little bit further when we get him out of the box. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is of course in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. If you do like seeing reviews on smaller scale Spidey figures just like this guy, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as the next review goes live on the channel. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art, and with this being my first Spidey release from Bandai, I kind of had no idea what to expect. We do have an open window showcasing the top half at least of Spidey, as well as a few accessories, an image down below of the figure plus the No Way Home logo. On the back we do have a gold Spidey logo in the background and a bunch more product shots, including a couple showcasing the various features of Spidey. Now I did also pre-order the integrated suit and the upgraded suit from No Way Home, so when they get here we will do a full-on comparison and hopefully decide which is the superior S.H.Figuarts Spidey. But for now, yes, this guy does have the red forearms. I know that's going to turn a lot of people off immediately, and I totally understand why, but it is there, and it is something that unfortunately they didn't correct. We'll touch on that a little bit more later on in the video. What we are going to do now though is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces. Now starting off with the web effects first, you do get a few of them. They're all cast in the same off-white semi-translucent plastic, and you do have a little slim section down below for him to hold on to the big one. You also get some smaller ones that nicely slot over his wrist peg to kind of make it look like they're coming out of his web shooters, and then the same thing but just a lot longer. Now they are all cast in the same color of plastic except for this one, the magical effect. I do like the zigzag nature of the web itself, and the orange color, it is still semi-translucent, and you do have those magical discs that you'd expect from a Doctor Strange magical effect. It does nicely peg into this web shooter, but the peg is very small, so I would be extremely careful when pegging that on to Spidey. As for the web shooter itself, it looks great. It looks accurate to the movie, it's done in gold, and it does have a little bit of movement on the forearm that you swap out. Although, it's the wrong side. This in the movie was on the right side, but here they've given us a left forearm. It's not a mistake, the figure was intended for this to be on the left side, it's just that it was based off concept art, so it's not super accurate. Speaking of not being super accurate, this was never in the movie. It is a little magical spider web that goes over the top of his spider symbol, and you'll see that on the figure a little bit later in the video. You also get some swap out eyes and a tool that you use to push them out of the head sculpt. Make sure you are reading the instructions so that you're not damaging these very small and thin pieces, because it's very possible that you might try and pry them off and snap the edges. You can see how tiny that top part is. You do have some fully wide open ones and some semi-squinted ones. You do also get an unmasked Tom Holland Peter Parker head sculpt. I personally am not a huge fan of this sculpt, but I know some people are. He looks overly tanned, but only on the front. When we turn it to the side, that's a regular skin tone and it matches with his neck. But for some reason they've gone slightly orange on the front. Overall, it is decent, but I think it's far from perfect. You also get a normal red Spidey neck, so you can use it on your other Spidey figures, potentially for integrated suit and also upgraded suit. You do get this piece as well that pegs into his back so you can use flight stands with your Spidey. Lastly, you do get a full array of Spidey hands. They are the inaccurate red and black color scheme, but nevertheless, they are some typical Spidey poses like the thwip and web grabbing hands. What we are going to do now though is get Spidey himself out here and take a closer look. Here we have him, standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And for the most part, surprisingly enough, even to me, I'm pretty happy with this guy. The suit looks great. Now yes, there's no denying it, it's super inaccurate, so it's automatically going to be a pass for a lot of you. But if you want a fun, semi-accurate Spidey from No Way Home, you could do a lot worse than this guy. The accessories, the proportions, and the articulation are the things that I'm focusing on, and this guy ticks pretty much all of those boxes. What we are going to do now though is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him, up close and personal. Now in just a second we will switch out the head sculpt for the unmasked version, pop on his magical symbol, and install his magical web shooter. In my display, I won't be having him wearing any of that. Number one, the magical symbol wasn't even in the movie, the web shooter, as we discussed earlier, is on the wrong side, and I straight up prefer the masked head sculpt. Now we may as well start off with that first. It is fully textured and the web lines are all fully painted. A gorgeous metallic gold has been used down in the crevices, so that means when you do move him around and the light hits the metallic, it shines a treat. Now, as you saw in the accessories segment, the eyes are swappable. I won't be doing it here and now because it's a little bit fiddly to do on camera, but towards the end of the video, I'll show you a few configurations as we're wrapping up. Now, moving down to the body, first of all, the proportions look good. I like how big the shoulders are, but how slender the rest of the body is. He has a muscular yet athletic physique. There are a couple of complaints that I do have though. We'll get those out of the way first. The first one is the chest symbol. You can very clearly see, yep, there's web lines all the way throughout, and then all of a sudden they stop. Now, I don't know how hard it would have been to paint the gold along the edge where this spider logo connects, but just having a straight up crevice there isn't the best look in my opinion. Plus, it is smack bang in the front, so there's no way of hiding it. It very clearly is visible. The other thing that I don't see a ton of reviewers mentioning, but I don't very much like the look of, is the Spidey thong. There's no other real way I can describe it than that. That's exactly what it is. He does have two separate cheeks and this line that goes around the middle all the way to the front. I'm not a huge fan of the way that looks, but unlike the chest symbol, in certain poses it's not a big deal. When you move the legs up, it's completely hidden, and being that this is a superposable Spidey, I am more likely to have this guy displayed in a way that will hide his Spidey thong. The body itself, though, is textured to the nines. There is sculpt work pretty much all over the entire figure. There's circuitry. There are also some details around the Spidey logo on the back, and while it isn't the most accurate in the world, because there are supposed to be wires and various lights and bits and pieces, it still looks great. The only massive complaint that I can foresee some people having is the red on the forearms. Yeah, there's no two ways about it, it's super inaccurate. Will Figuarts come along and make a proper accurate version to the movie? Yeah, probably, but this is available now, and it's super fun and super posable, plus it does come with the unmasked head sculpt that you can use on your other Spidey figures. It's not going to work for everyone, but it's not the biggest deal for me. Now, coming down to the legs, he does of course have the gold web lines down below on his boots, plus a ton of surface detail, and then a ton more up here on his thighs. Again, it's not at all accurate, but it is at least visually interesting. If you are curious what he looks like with the various parts switched out, here we have it. Now, the head sculpt does look a little bit better on the body. I still don't think the likeness is there. It kind of looks like a generic young lad. But I have heard some people say that this is their favourite shrunk down Tom Holland head sculpt, so I'll have to leave it up to you to decide. As for the chest symbol, it swaps out super easily. Literally just pegs in there and you can see that web detail on the front. I don't exactly know what this was supposed to be back in the concept art phase, but nevertheless, it's not going to be displayed on mine. Lastly, with the web shooter, it does move quite freely, which I'm pleased to see. That means you can pretty much have it in any orientation you choose. It's not fixed in place. Now, I thought that you might potentially be able to remove the wrist peg that holds it in place and swap it onto the other side. But upon initial inspection, it doesn't actually work. Maybe you'll have more luck than I did and you can heat it up and disassemble everything, but out of the box, it's supposed to go on this side, so that's where it is. Now, do let me know which of the looks you prefer down in the comments below. Now, for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the S.H.Figuarts black and gold suit Spidey on the left, the Marvel Legends version front and center, and then the Marvel Legends integrated suit on the right. Now, as you can see, the two Legends look similar to one another. They do have the same overall proportions, and the look and feel is quite consistent. The Figuarts one, though, I definitely give the win to. It's not any more accurate than the Marvel Legends figure, but there is a ton more texture. It's also a little bit smaller, which does make it look like a teenager. Now, the Legends figure is also slightly shorter than figures like Doctor Strange, so he does have that height difference, but I do think the Figuarts version looks a little bit better. Speaking of Doctor Strange, here we have him from the No Way Home wave, and as you can see, he is significantly taller than Spidey. But I think these two pair up very nicely together. If you were to go ahead and buy some Marvel Legends figures from this film and wanted to pair it with your Figuarts releases, I don't think there is any issue here. This works quite well. Just going over articulation. Now, bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I am willing to go. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a ball joint at the base of the head and another at the base of the neck. Combined, it looks forward to there, it goes back to there, swivel, and then a ton of pivot side to side. The arms will go up to there. They will of course go forward and back. There is a butterfly joint at the shoulder that also hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep. A double bend at the elbow that does go past 90, plus a hinge and swivel for the wrist peg. The torso does have a ball joint up on top and another down below, allowing a full range of motion forward and back, swivel and pivot side to side. The legs will go forward to there, they will go out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, which unfortunately was super stiff on mine out of the box, a double bend at the knee, hinge and swivel down here for the ankle, plus toe articulation. Just wrapping up on the S.H.Figuarts black and gold suit Spidey. Now, going into this, I was real excited. I told y'all, this is my first Figuarts Spider-Man figure, and now at the end of this, I can honestly say that it's not going to be my last. Even though he's not accurate, in fact, he's far from it, he's still a ton of fun. The suit is sculpted to the nines, there's surface texture and detail everywhere, which isn't something I'm used to seeing from Bandai, but it looks great here. The web lines are all fully painted, the accessories are on point, and the articulation is stellar. This guy can pull off some iconic Spidey poses without breaking a sweat. So if that's what you're looking for, then jump right in. This guy is worth picking up. But if you want something super accurate, then maybe wait it out and look elsewhere. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. A link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. While you're down there, check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.